time of year you want to prune fruit trees is in the late fall, winter, when the leaves have fallen off. But the worst time of the year to prune is in the spring when the buds are just blossoming. And you don't really want to do that then because that stresses out the tree. Because you can stress out the blossoms and lose your blossoms if you prune right when you can prune when they're buds, before the buds open, but you got to get that done before they open. Once they start opening, you shouldn't be pruning. And what I always tell people what they need to do is prune their tree down. You want to reduce the crown. You want to get up on ladders and bring the tree down. We want to reduce the crown from above. You got to have a ladder or long pole saws like these. This extends out. And if you want to get a really good pole saw, get a silky. These are the best. But mostly what we use is a hand saw. This is a silky hand saw, the Zubat. That means swoosh. And loppers like this. Okay, like here's an example of cutting. Like people say, well, how do you know where to cut? Okay, now see how this branch is growing out here? This branch is growing out, and it terminates here. And right back here, there's a branch growing up. So I could say, okay, I want to prune it back to this branch growing up, like that. And so, like this is a little bit too long, so I'm going to prune it back to one of these. Growing down into here and it's colliding with this branch. I'm going to take that out so it's not colliding. I'll just trim it back to this other one that's growing up vertically. Okay, one of the basic things that I always tell people when you're first pruning a tree is to get rid of the 3 Ds, the dead, the dying, and the deformed. And I've heard of, and that includes any branches that are cracked or broken. I call that a deformed limb. It needs to come out. Get rid of those first, and then after you get the 3 Ds gone, the dead, dying, and the deformed, then you start pruning the tree. Some people call these suckers. They're actually technically called water sprouts. These are water sprouts, these branches coming off here. And these sprouts, you don't want to get rid of all of them, but you want to get rid of the ones that are not growing the right way. This one's growing up in here and just colliding with this other existing branch. It's kind of clogged, so I'm going to just take that one off completely. This one's also just growing up in a crowded, collided area. I'm going to take that one off completely. So branches that grow up and cross with each other or kind of crowd their way into another space, you want to get rid of them. And it's kind of crowding into here. I'd almost take this whole thing off. I'll leave a stub. Take that off. Then trim the stub. There's some sprouts growing straight up. So the way the tree grows up and it grows out, kind of like this, kind of like an upside down pyramid or an upside down conical shape. So you generally, those are the ideal branches that are growing up and out. From the ones that grow straight down like this, usually you can just take them off. And like see this limb right here, it's coming out and then it's growing down. I'm just going to take it off. But here I got 3 limbs originating from the same location. And I'm going to take off one of these completely and leave the other 2. This one's kind of long. This is a thin limb to bear this much weight when it's loaded with fruit. So I'm going to shorten it back to about here. See this water sprout here, it's growing up, and it's growing up where there's a bunch of other sprouts. They're just going to collide with each other. So I'm going to take that one off completely. This water sprout right here is colliding with this one. Take that off. And then this whole long thing is kind of long. So I'm going to take it back to another twig that's going to be the new terminus. Normally, the ideal, you want to take it back to a twig that's growing up and out. Like, see how this one's originating on the top and growing out? That would be an ideal one to take it back to, is right there. This long one right here. And see how I have a lot of them originating off the bottom? They're coming off the bottom. I'm just going to take all those off. because I got lots of good ones coming off the top. Ones that come off the top and grow out at upward V angles, those are the ones you want to leave. And we can shorten some of these quite a bit. And then I'm left with a whole bunch here. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I want to take out about a third of them. I'll take out like 4. Like I'll take out this one, and this one, and this one, and what's this one? So that's what I'm left with. I'm actually left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and I had 11. I took about 5 of them out. This one right here is kind of broken and just going down at a weird angle. Okay, now see this branch on this persimmon tree? It's growing out. It's kind of long. It's kind of slender. It could break from too much weight or too much fruit, so I'm just going to really shorten this thing back. These ones that originate from the bottom, I'm going to take them off. This one's originating from the bottom, I'm going to take it off. So that's kind of the general rule of how you prune it. Stuff that's growing straight down off of a load-bearing branch, a fruit-bearing branch, take it off, and then you also want to head it back, shorten it. Right off back here at the head, I'm going to take this one off, shorten it. These clusters of growth here are kind of crowded. I'm going to shorten it. Take some of these back. I'm going to shorten this one all the way back to this one right here. This one right here comes back to here. This will be the new terminal. So I'll take it right back to there. And right in here in this V crotch right here, there's a bunch of growth. I'm just going to open it up. There. And right here I got like 5 branches growing out of one head. That's where it was pruned in the past, and these were all like water sprouts that just voraciously grew out like crazy. I'm going to trim out about half of them. There shouldn't be that many originating from the same spot. Take out this water sprout. Take out this one. This one. Same with if you're pruning your mango tree, bro. Just shorten the limbs, head them back. Branches that are growing straight down off your load-bearing limbs, take off the lower ones, leave the ones growing up and out. And you can clean out the inside of the tree where there's lots of growth that isn't going to bear fruit anyways, because it's all just going to be suckery water sprout growth on the inside. Just get rid of all that stuff in here. Now sometimes if you have a side of a tree that needs more branches and needs more growth, then you want to encourage a water sprout to grow out and develop limbs and become limbs in that area. But if you've already got good established limbs and you just have water sprouts growing in like crazy, just take out the water sprouts. Stub right here. Take this off. You know, see how I left a slight stub here? You always want to leave a slight stub. You don't want to prune something back and do a flush cut. Flush cut is where you cut so close to the tree, and I'll see if I can find one here, a tree that's had a flush cut on it, I'll show you. But it's better to leave a slight stub sticking out, like if you come around here with the camera with this thing. When in doubt, leave a stub sticking out. It's always better to leave a slight stub. Now you don't have to leave a big old stub like this, like right here. You don't have to leave a big old stub like that. That's just an improper cut right there. I'm just going to try to shorten this a little bit. Now, okay, I'll show you what a flush cut is. It's the wrong way to make a cut. A flush cut is when somebody prunes something. I didn't want to do this on the tree, but make sure there's light on here. So, got that? This is a flush cut. A flush cut is when you prune a branch off of a tree or a limb on a tree that's just flush right on. You don't want to do that. That won't heal very good, and it'll leave a big wound. It's better to leave a slight stub, like there's a little bump there. That's the growth collar. Leave the growth collar on and leave a little bit of a stub. It'll heal better. See this bulging collar around where the limb originates out of this other limb, where this branch originates? You want to cut on the outside of that, Don't cut that off. Don't do a flush cut like I just did on that other one, but you want to cut just to the outside of it. So you leave a stub and leave that growth collar in there. That growth collar will naturally want to grow and cover that hole. That cut will always be there. It'll be doing what's called compartmentalization. It'll compartmentalize that wound and close it up a lot better. If you do a flush cut like this will stay open for many years longer and it won't close. And it leaves also a bigger wound on the tree.